Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. I was talking to my buddy Will Clute up on the Mohawk Reservation this morning. We were talking about fishing and his whole life being a guide out there on the water and talking with people that come from other areas and what he sees and feels and has learned. And he's been out walleye fishing. That's one thing you can still do right now in open water. And it's something that there's an awful lot of walleyes in the St. Lawrence River. On the reservation waters and way upstream, going all the way back up to the source, all the way along the St. Lawrence, there's wonderful populations of walleyes. Where you can find them right now is staging up outside where tributaries are coming into the St. Lawrence River. Tributaries like the Grass River, the little tributaries that some of us don't even know the names for, that trickle into the water, into the St. Lawrence. For example, in Waddington, where the first brook comes in, there's a lot of walleyes that hang out in those waters just around where they can come in to spawn. Same thing in Ogdensburg with the Oswegatchie River, where that comes in. There's a lot of walleyes that are outside of there. When we have more stable ice fishing conditions, that's where a lot of people can have their best lucks by these tributaries. There's a lot of tributaries that come into the St. Lawrence on the Canadian side. A lot of times people feel that the walleye fishing may be better there. Well, it might be at many times when those fish are staging and getting ready to go up any little tributary to spawn. So it's something to really be aware of. I talked to Will about the fish that he's catching right now, and he says, well, the techniques that I'm using for walleyes right now are not necessarily the same as in the summertime because water temperature, of course, is colder. And when water temperature is colder, those fish's metabolism slows down. They're not as active. They're not going to react the same. So instead of using fast crankbaits, like can be great here in a couple months, he's using more slow type of techniques, jigging techniques, where the fish don't have to move as fast or as far. But the important thing to realize, and here's another thing that he's been telling me, he's got guided trips going on all the time, right now, out on the St. Lawrence in open water for walleyes. And the people, I said to Will, where are they coming from? He says, I've got people this week coming from New Jersey. I've got people coming from Tennessee, from all, they hear about the fabulous area we live in, which a lot of us aren't even aware of. And they want to come up here, and they want to come up and fish for walleyes. Something to think about as we go forward. One other thing that Will told me that I really wanted to pass on today is how the smallmouth hibernate to a great extent in the winter. They gather together in huge schools. They're very close together, and they just lay there and wait for the water temperature to start getting warmer. Then, in the time before they spawn, they become extremely hungry, and they start feeding and biting and hitting just about anything. And that's why when season first starts for walleyes and northern pike in May, when bass season isn't open, those bass are every place, and they're wanting to hit. You can't help but catch them. It's a joyous time for a bass fisherman to have a bass on the other end of the line. It really is. But it's important for us to realize all these factors. Number one, we've got a lot of other species in our water. We've got a lot of conditions that change how they react depending on the time of the year. And the fact that bass hibernate, this was a new thing for me. And Will had seen all kinds of studies and videos on it that took place out in Minnesota or one of those Midwestern states. And they're going to react the same way here. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.